Heartiest welcome to Lieutenant Commander Payal Gupta Rawat, Nausena Medal, retired. Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Ma'am, your mic is off.
Hi, Pallav. Good evening. How are you?
I am doing really great, ma'am. And how about you, ma'am?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Great,
So, this
great,
is my
great.
first time doing some online session with someone as you, so young. I'm so actually proud of you that you are able to conduct this session and doing something great for all the candidates over here. And yeah, happy to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Great, ma'am. So, for the benefit of all the audience, let me introduce a bit about ma'am, and thereafter, ma'am will also cover a lot of things regarding this whole aspect. So, ma'am hails from the serene town of Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Ma'am has completed a voyage around the world, which is also known as Globe Circumnavigation in INSV Tarini. It is the first Asian team to circumnavigate the globe in an astounding day of 254 days. She has earned Nosena Medal Gallantry on August 15th, coming her to accolades and recognitions. She has also been awarded with Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award in 2018. Thereafter, she was also awarded with Admiral Ramdas Trophy 2018. Thereafter, she was also awarded with Hindustan Times 30 Under 30 Award, followed by Nari Shakti, participated in the Cape to Rio 2017 race. Thereafter, Ocean Globe Race 2023 became the first Indian to participate in this race in the last 50 years. Talking about ma'am's branch, she was from SSC Naval Education branch, and she has served in the various naval establishments, which includes INS Mandovi, INS Chilka, even at INS Angre. Thereafter, she also served in RIMC Dehradun. This is a little bit about ma'am, and there are many things which ma'am will definitely tell about her in the due course of time. Parallelly, ma'am has got recommended in her sixth attempt, which include screen outs and conference outs from different boards, and ma'am got recommended from 33 SSB Bhopal in 2012. She has served 10 years in Indian Navy. Thereafter, she has got a lot of big plans coming up in the near future, which definitely ma'am will be covering today. So, welcome, ma'am, on behalf of whole CULTSSB team and the community out here.
Thank you so much for the amazing introduction.
So, so, ma'am, since as we were discussing before you were joining, we were discussing regarding who all are fresher, repeater, and recommended. So we have got crowds from all the walks of SSB, which includes fresher,
Okay.
out, repeater, and recommended. So, ma'am, we will start from the very first thing which we can see in the screen. Ma'am, we can see that meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi, then our former President Ramnath Kovind, then meeting the big B, Amitabh Bachchan. How was this feeling? First question.
Uh, at that point of time, it was a great feeling because hardly you get chance to meet such eminent personalities, and obviously it was a matter of pride, especially for my parents because everywhere I went, I made sure that I would take them along, and yeah, it was they were actually honored, and my parents are really a big fan of our prime minister and obviously Amitabh Bachchan. So yeah, happy
Great, ma'am.
as always.
Ma'am, since you were awarded with many prestigious awards, and since many candidates out here have also did a bit of research, which includes your journey, which was showcased in Nat Geo, thereafter n number of articles published at newspapers, and also followed by different news news channels. So, ma'am, the journey of INSV Tarini, which is which is not only a prestigious thing, but also an thing which many naval officers can only just see, but they can't go and take the decision. So, like, tell me that moment when you got to know about this opportunity and how did you grabbed it up, and like was it from your
Okay.
insight कि जाना है या फिर चलो मैम देख कर आते हैं.
Okay. So this journey started when I joined Navy. So basically, when you think as a civilian, when you think of forces, the first thing that comes in your mind is adventure, and also to do something else apart from the world, because the things which you are not able to do when you are outside in a world, when you're doing your college, maybe your graduation, MBA, and as a corporate in a corporate job, you won't be able to do things like this. So when I joined Navy, I made sure that I want to be on waters. So whenever I used to think of Navy, that was the first thing that water used to come into my mind. And I saw the oceans for the first time when I joined Indian Naval Academy. So at that very instant, I thought, okay, I want to do something on water. I was not sure what, but obviously I learned swimming for the first time. And it was very difficult. It took me almost a month to be confident in water and to swim. So INSV Tarini happened. It is basically, the project name was Navika Sagar Parikrama, and it happened in 2015 when I went for my for the first time I went for this Republic Day parade. It was a it was in 2015 that Indian government decided to have a women officer contingent from all the three forces. So as I was sub-lieutenant at that point of time and really enthusiastic, I volunteered for it, and my CO sent my name, and then I was selected for Adi Parade. I went to Delhi, and we were doing training, and for 1 month we used to do all sort of training which was scheduled for us. And on the last day before the Adi Parade, you are invited to CNS house for high tea, and so that you get motivated, and on the 26th January you just give your best out there, and they'll speak to you, and they'll always motivate you to do your best. So at that point of time, there was one senior officer who was present there, and sir told all the lady officers that Navy is planning something big, and there's an adventure activity which is coming up, and if someone wants to apply, you can let me know. And so I was like, okay, I want to do this. I actually was clueless. I didn't knew what circumnavigation mean. That was the first time I heard that name, circumnavigation, and then I googled it later, like what it actually is. But nonetheless, I was not aware about it. But I was the first one to go and find the A4 sheet, write my name and my postmates who were interested, and give it to him. Although that is not the way how you like give your name and get selected for any of the events in Navy, but that's what I think. Like, I was very excited to go for it, and I really wanted to do it. So I just gave my name at that point of time, but he refused, and he said just apply through proper channels. And yeah, that's when I got to know about INSV, like Navika Sagar Parikrama, circumnavigation. Yeah.
Ma'am, you mentioned regarding that you directly approached breaking the chain of command and then followed by things which didn't went well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, चलो मैम ये तो बात होगी regarding आपने approach, but tell me something about your training program, which basically was for a stringent days. And after seeing Nat Geo, we were also thinking कि this is something quite humongous for any sailing thing.
Okay, so basically, you want to know the training program of before the sailing, before the circumnavigation, right?
Right, ma'am.
Okay, so there was a lot of process before that. So once I came back from RD parade, there was a you get a written information that so and so so many officers are required for circumnavigation, and officers can apply. You have to be medically fit and all. So I sent my name. I got selected. I actually went for a screening process. Then I came back, waited for 5 months, and then again I got my name. And after that, I got posted to INS Mandvi, because that was the base from where the training has to happen, and the ocean sailing node is based in Goa, INS Mandalay. After reaching there, it was almost 3 years that it took us to get trained and to become confident that we could, like all six of us, could go alone around the globe and come back safely. So that 3 years include 6 months of theoretical training where we went to different schools like oceanography school, ND school, and we did hands-on training practices. Then we did a lot of studies about astronavigation. We learned each and every instrument on board. We learned how to do electrical wiring if something goes bad, how to repair an reverse osmosis plant, which makes water for us, how to repair the engine. So these things happened in theoretical also, and after that, once we were trained enough to go alone, we started doing sorties. So my first sortie was from Goa to Karwar because it is very short distance and take 24 hours. So that's how we progressed from 1 day to 5 day sortie to Mumbai, and then to 10 days sortie to Vizag, then few more days. Then that's how we, for the first time, like anyone in Indian Navy, any of the women officers in Indian Navy sailed internationally and went from Goa to Mauritius. And there were like so many other trips like this, like from Goa to Cape Town and then Cape Town to Rio and then coming back. So it was all step by step process because not only for us, it was very difficult for our seniors and seniors in Navy to get that fact that, yeah, we can do it. So to build that confidence, it took us like almost 3 years, 3.5 years. There was time when whole base used to come down to see us off. Okay, the girls are going to Mauritius. Let's just come and see them off. And everyone was there waving us and saying all the best, goodbye. And there was time when we went second time to Mauritius, and hardly there were 4 people just to catch the rope because they were like so. They had that confidence that we will come back safely. So you need to get to that point. Yeah. So that's how it went.
Ma'am, like you mentioned, you traveled to many places and with this sailing and all. So now we are more interested to know about how exactly this 254 days, which for which the whole history was created, and in golden words in the history of Navy, it was well crafted. That six-woman crew, which was headed by Lieutenant Commander, uh, ma'am, and thereafter they covered the whole journey. And you being the youngest officer out of all the six officers, so how was that like whole journey? And more importantly, when we were covering the Nat part, you were the one who were the person who actually repaired the RO1. So what was that main role, like being an engineer, then converting into education branch, then going for sailing, which comes under executive? So how this all those things correlated?
Uh, okay, starting from the journey, I think the sailing, getting into sailing and becoming an ocean sailor was the best. I would the best decision of my life, because if you're in Navy and you're not sailing, then what's the use of being in Navy? Like that's what I say. So Navy always say that join the Navy and see the world. So that was my motto. I joined the Navy and I have seen the world because I have gone around the world, seen the waters of the world actually, and it was a fantastic journey and voyage, I would say. Uh, it was fantastic in a way because sailing is such a beautiful sports which is not known to many people in India. And I've seen people outside, they like do sailing every day. They'll go out and have fun on water on weekends. But since it's a costly sport and it is not available everywhere, especially in northern part of India, so it is not that popular. But yeah, whenever, and like I would say this to everyone, like if you get ever chance to sail, you must do it just for an experience, because being on water is such a great pleasure. and you get to know how little you need to survive on this earth. You don't need actually much, and you will be the happiest person on earth when you are on waters, because it is such a nice feeling, and you are riding the waves, you are riding the boat, and you are taking going along with the waves, although there will be many tough times, but yeah, this is the best part of sailing. And you learn a lot. You learn to be humble, because you know you cannot overpower the power of nature. You cannot overpower the waves, you cannot overpower the wind, so you have to go along with that. So you learn that when you sail. And there are so many things that you learn. You get to know the practical knowledge, like hands-on work experience. Like if anything at home now, if anything need to be repaired, I would rather do it myself than calling an electrician, because you kind of start fiddling with the things and you check out on yourself ki acha isme kharab kya hai, let me see. So that comes in with the sailing. Yeah. What was the last part of your question?
Ma'am, it was regarding the RO1, which was
Okay.
showcasely shown in the.
So that arrow plant gone bad, and we were struggling for almost 2 weeks to get it repaired.
For the audience note, ma'am, I would tell like what was the incident. So what, ma'am, the incident was that they were in the middle of the oceans, and since, as you all know, finding fresh water in the middle of ocean is not only beyond imagination, but if the lifeline also goes somewhere here and there, which is the RO plant, then again it creates a mess, and even the reserve stock of water was also about to complete, or it was about to finish. So eventually, what happened was the RO plant was not getting repaired. So, ma'am, being one of the officers, so she was there helping. I'm telling
So
the story.
yeah. So what happened is, I was in the middle of ocean. We had a little bit of internet connectivity. We could use almost like in few days we would use 100 MB of data, because we have satellite connection to be connected with the Navy and send our position reports and everything. So one day I was just casually talking to one of my course mates on message that our power plant is not working, and he's a technical officer. So he told me that, did you check the filters? So I was like, yeah, we did check the filters. We have checked it so many times, and we have tried to change and repair also. Everything was done. So because of him telling me that, okay, check it again once more and then check this part of the filter, I did that and it actually worked. So it's like combined efforts of everyone. But yeah, it was that moment that we got to know, okay, this is a problem, and then we rectified it. Till that time we were collecting rainwater. We were For 2 weeks we were using just rainwater for cooking purposes, and for like brushing teeth, and for facing our like washing our face. And yeah, and drinking water was like very limited, so we would actually write names on the bottle, because we would have like 1 liter of bottle for everyone. So, and we were in Indian Ocean, which is the hottest one, and near equator the temperature gets till 40 degrees, and you actually require more water. You need at least 2 to 2.5 liters of water every day, but we were consuming very less water. After we repaired it, we could survive and we could actually go through that situation. But yeah, it was very tough, but we managed it.
Yes. And compounding it, the saline water flow and the saline flow of air also created much much thirsty in nature. You
Yeah.
highlighted regarding the 100 MB one, and which totally accumulates to 54, which is around hardly some GB of net, and you all survived
Yeah.
6 days. So for the audience who are actually using 2 GB a day and still finding it difficult, what would be a simple note for all of them?
So that's what I said. When we are on land, we have so much luxury that we take things for granted. Even a simple thing as water, maybe electricity, using fan and the lights which we are using. So when we are on boat, we don't have any fans on board. We don't have any heating equipment on board. So we went from 40 degrees temperature to minus 10 degrees temperature in the Southern Ocean within a span of 30 days when once we reached Australia, and then we were crossing Pacific and Atlantic. So this temperature variation, your body is also getting adjusted to it, and you take a lot of time for adjustment. But then you get used to it because you don't have any choice. So that's why I say it is like so good to be on land, but it is so peaceful to be on waters.
That would be a landmark line which I think everybody have noted down. Peaceful, let's see. Great, really great. Ma'am, in that show, we also got to know that you celebrated your birthday on ocean. So, how was that experience in the middle of ocean, cutting cakes, celebrating with five other officers? So,
Oh God. So I knew that someone will be baking cake for me because on a 56-foot boat, you can't hide anything. And I knew everyone is decorating the boat for me and we'll have a good celebration. So it was a great day because just one day before that, there was Diwali event. And we got a call from Prime Minister, and then when we were chatting on a video call with Prime Minister, and then he suddenly says, "Payal ji ka birthday aane wala hai," and I was like shocked. Like, how do Prime Minister know that my birthday is coming up? So that was a great experience because that birthday I'll never forget, because celebrating birthdays at sea is very rare event, and it was the first and last one, and I wish to celebrate many more at sea. Although this time in 2023, I thought that I will celebrate my birthday in Atlantic because last time it was in Tasman Sea, but then I missed the chance because of my injury. But nevertheless, maybe next year.
definitely.
Yeah.
And we also hope that you celebrate your birthday sometimes at the ports as well, uh,
Oh
doing
yeah,
your
definitely.
preparation. Really great.
That will be the best. I think the best adventure of my life if I get to sail to Arctic or Antarctica.
Great, 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 ma'am. Real nice. Ma'am, now since we got to know about INSV Tarini journey, one last question from Tarini journey will be: what was the most challenging and most difficult phase which you felt that, or which ocean was it where actually you felt कि हम कभी भी डूब सकते हैं या शायद हम बचने वाले भी नहीं हैं? What was that moment?
Uh, Obviously Pacific, because as you all know, it is known as Mahasagar, and rightly named, it is Mahasagar. Pacific is actually very difficult because in this part of Earth, you don't have any obstruction. So wind and sea flow freely with, and because of this free flow, the waves and the wind are always higher than what you get in Indian Ocean or maybe Atlantic. So because of that, the ocean is always rough. You will always get a wind like 40 knots, like which is like almost 80 kilometer per hour. So you are from Vizag, so you know how many hurricanes you see every year in Vizag, and the kind of cyclones you see. So that kind of wind is always prevailing in Pacific Ocean. And we have, during our circumnavigation, we saw once, like in the middle of ocean, we saw almost up to 70 knots, which is 140 kilometer per hour of wind speed, and wave as high as 10-story building coming up to you, and then you are riding on that wave. So it used to be a feeling of fear. Obviously, you have to have a fear. You cannot be a person with no emotions and being like, oh, I can do this thing. No. Being an officer, you are a human being, and obviously, you will have a fear of your life, but overcoming that fear by having faith in yourself and having faith in your training is what makes you apart. So we had almost done our training equal to what we were doing in circumnavigation, as per the nautical miles, the distance. So the distance which we covered during circumnavigation was equal to the circumference of Earth, which is 44,000 kilometer, and equal amount of training we did before leaving for circumnavigation. So that's why we were confident that we could face the storm and we could go through it. Obviously, when we were in the middle of storm and you are facing it for the first time because you have only seen it in videos, and once you are in middle of it, you feel like, what next, how big can it be? And it is like a thing which you don't want to see ever again, I would say that.
And we also hope that next time polls में आपकी sailing बड़ी हो. Ma'am, last but not the least, covering up, people actually think that getting recommendation is the most difficult part in their life. Abhi ke liye, as of now, those are preparing. But after you join service, there are a number of things which you have mentioned now. So, what would be the thing which you feel that which has made you a better person throughout the journey of not only preparation phase but also in the due course of service?
Uh, I think good seniors. It is very important to have good seniors and course mates because any journey is impossible without people who are there with you in that journey. So always have faith and positive attitude while you're working toward anything, maybe SSB in your job, in college when you're preparing for exams, and try to associate with people who you like, who are positive, who are giving you good energy, and who are helping you out in your journey. So that makes your journey much more cheerful and happy, and you look forward to it every day once you get up. Yeah.
Now let's go to the basics of the candidates, which basically many candidates out here are waiting for, and more importantly, from the journey also they would have realized that what is known as the finest officer in armed forces, particularly women officers. So, ma'am, we wanted to know regarding your SSB journey, how it all started, and from where did you got this motive to join forces? Now, since if for the audience note, ma'am comes from a civilian background, and जिन लोग को लगता है कि सिर्फ फौजी किड्स ही हो सकते हैं recommend, ma'am has proved it to be wrong, and it is time and right everybody have proved it to be wrong. कि ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि सिर्फ फौजी किड्स ही होते हैं. ना ma'am is one such example sitting right before you. So, ma'am, how was this thing really motivated you to join forces, and how did you overcome all the challenges?
Okay. So I never had a dream to join Defense Force since childhood, as everyone say, because in my childhood I am 90s kid, so I never had opportunity to use internet in my school time. It was hardly like we used to get opportunity to go to cafes and all. And I was very introvert kid. So as an introvert kid, I was like just into studies, go to school, come back, study, go to tuition, come back, study, and that was my day. But when I first time that's what I thought, like at that point of time the only option I had is to become an engineer or a doctor. And since I had maths, so I was like, okay, let's become engineer because I'll do engineering and after that I'll get a job. I joined my college, and every day, for the first day when I went to my college, I crossed Indian Military Academy. And I remember that day vividly because I saw a lot of men running around in a olive green uniform. And I was like, why there is no girl here? And I was not aware about Indian Military Academy because it was far away from my home. So that was the first day I saw Indian Military Academy, and every day I used to cross that because my college was like 15 kilometers away from my home, and I used to see people in uniform, and then I got to know, okay, defense for services bhi kuch hota hai. In my first year of college, I got to know. Then in second year of my college, NCC came to my college. So my college started NCC enrollment, and one of my maths instructor professor, he told us that you all can join and you'll get a free uniform and you don't need to pay anything for it, and you'll go for camping, and you will do drills every day. And that's how I thought, okay, it is for free and we'll got to do so many things, let's do it. And I told my parents, ऐसे ऐसे ज्वाइन कर रहे हो, कैंप्स के लिए जाना होगा, पास में ही जाना है, नॉट वेरी फार, 20-30 kilometer in Dehradun only. So I started wearing that NCC uniform, and every day I used to travel 50 kilometers by a private. I used to walk first, then catch a bus, then come, because college bus used to come at 8 o'clock, and I have to be there for drills at 6 o'clock. So it used to be a difficult thing because I never thought I have to come in the early in the morning before college. So that time also went away, and it used to be a good thing because I used to feel I am doing such a different thing. No one, like only 30 girls in the college are wearing this uniform, doing the drill and going to class, and everyone used to look at us, oh wow. So I used to feel good about it. Then we went for our NCC camps for the first time, and I was very excited because I have never gone out of my house and done something like this. So it was a new experience for me, and I was enjoying it. Although we used to sleep on floors, eat food which was not really good, and we used to do it like everything ourselves in that NCC camp, like pitching our tents, and then सुबह झाड़ू मार रहे, उठ के पूरे बर्तन साफ कर रहे, everything has to be done by cadets only. So it was amazing experience, and there for the first time I saw a lady officer, now retired. Her name is Captain Sunena. So ma'am came out of her gypsy wearing a Ray-Ban and a uniform. She was lieutenant at that point of time, and when I saw her I was like, oh, I have to be like her, I want to wear that uniform. So that was the dream and goal I made to myself that day, and I never looked back, and I was like, I have to work out the way to get into this. So that was my journey, and after that I started preparing in my third year, and I gave 5, 6 SSBs. Then I used to study really hard for it because I was an average student, not great, like a 70%, between 70 and 80%. So I used to study for CDS, then FCAT. Then I got to know that I can get into paramilitary forces also and Coast Guard also. So I studied overall for defense forces only, including paramilitary. I gave few exams for assistant commandant exams also, but only written, not interviews and all. So my goal was clear that I need to get a job either outside or in defense.
So, ma'am, you mentioned that you started preparing from your third year and eventually you got recommended after your final year. So,
No, I got recommended after 1.5 year after final year because I was working in Gurgaon, and I was working as an Android engineer, then search analyst for some time, and then I recommended in 2013, yes, after 1.5 year.
and now you mentioned that you also worked, and there are many candidates out here who are working or they are either pursuing some or the other thing, like writing competitive exams. So, what was your kind of preparation that time while you were in working as well as preparing for SSB and giving written exams, finally focusing on three things? So, how was your strategy that time?
So the strategy for the first 6 months, I was really confused because balancing a new job and side by side preparing for the SSB was difficult for me. So for 6 months, I was confused and I was not liking my job. It was like very difficult to focus. So I left my job. I gave interviews, and within 1 week, I got another job. So this was a search analyst job and I my shift timings were from 2 to 11. So I used to start working at 2 p.m. till 11 p.m. in the night. So by the time I used to come home, it used to be 11:30. So I had chalked out my day in a way. I actually selected this timing so that I could prepare for my SSB also. So from 12 p.m. till I would say 5 p.m. I used to prepare for SSB, including everything. Like if I want to prepare for interview, GTO, reading newspapers. So 2 hours I used to read new newspapers. Then for few time, like for few hours, I'll practice for TAT, SAT, VAT, and other things. Sometimes I used to stand in front of mirror and practice for my lecturate. So it used to include everything. But yeah, 2 hours definitely I used to dedicate to my reading, where I used to get knowledge. Like, and the most important part I would like to tell the candidates, like, read good newspaper like Hindu, which has good knowledge and good content. So that is very important because it will increase your vocab also. So from 12 to 2 I used to do that, and after that 3 hours of other preparation time for other things, and then 5:30 I used to prepare myself for exercise. I used to go for a jog, do some exercise, and then six like every day it has to be done. I did this routine, like I used to do exercise, after that having my breakfast and all, then I used to sleep till 1 o'clock and then again jog. So I followed this routine for 6 months and then I cleared my SSB.
Great, ma'am. This is, I guess, one of the foolproof strategy which ma'am has tried and trusted. So I think the candidates out here have got no other doubt that कि exactly कैसे क्या करना है. So ma'am, if we take particularly regarding aspects, like what was your focus since you mentioned you got recommended in your sixth attempt? So means you have given 6 screenings. So what all things happened and how did you overcome your failures or the things which you learned from your not so good experiences, and how did you overcome everything in the last attempt where you got recommended?
Okay. So in my first attempt, I was a newbie. I was not aware about actually the SSB process only, because till that time I had not taken any coaching or anything like that. I was just aware that we have to go through the group discussion part and everything, which I have read in books. So only that much knowledge I had. So I went for it and I got a bad shock because the screening process was like 22 girls were there, and we like everyone was like shouting and I had no clue what to say because there was like so much of noise coming from everywhere. I got confused and I was not able to speak even a sentence. So that was done. I was screened out, and I came back. I There was interview lined up, placement interview after 2 days. I focused on that. I was like, it's okay. This is not the last chance. We have so many other chances. Then I actually learned from that SSB that screening is very important. And for screening, I need to have knowledge. Only if I have knowledge, I will be confident enough to speak. And how can you get knowledge? By reading. And topic could be anyone, anything from anywhere. So you need to read a lot. That's how you become knowledgeable and confident to speak out in front of so many people and the excesses. So from for second SSB, I prepared really well. I did 1 month of coaching in Dehradun, just 1 month, just to get an idea what all happens. And after that, I was preparing myself, and along with few of my, at that point of time, Facebook was the option where you could find SSB groups. So I had like CULTSSB, which is helping all the students to prepare. So there were few SSB pages which had groups. So I joined that group and I used to prepare alongside with those candidates. And we used to have group discussions on phone. We used to share notes. We used to practice SRTs, Like some person will put a SRT on Facebook page, and then everyone will write their story. So you don't need to read their story first. You write your own story, and then you take notes of what others are writing. So I used to do that. So that's how it went in my second one. So after my first screen out, I never got screened out. I always got conference out because I knew how to get screen in now. So I knew that okay, whenever there is a topic, I just need to put my point. It could be one line or two line, but it should be there, and it should be audible to everyone. And even if you're not able to put it through in first go, try to come there somewhere in between, because you always get a chance. It is not like all the 22 people will speak and you will not be able to speak. It is not like that.
Yes,
So I got this strategy of how to do the screening. So that was okay. But then conference out was happening again and again. It was due to other so many things which I could not, like, I tried accessing myself every time I came back from SSB, but I could only analyze that I have to improve myself in all these spheres. It was not just one thing. So keep on practicing and keep on trying. There was like days when I used to stand in front of a mirror and practice my lecturates and see, look at my expressions, hand movement, and the way I am standing, or how you are sitting in front of an interview. The small things matters. So you have to really be conscious about these things also. Yeah.
ma'am, you mentioned that like you practiced and with the help of groups, as well as you also practiced with a peer friend circle who were preparing for SSB.
Yeah.
So how actually this plays a significant role, because there are many candidates out there who also practice the similar manner, and they also seek for genuine things out everywhere in the wherever they can go and approach. So what would be your piece of thing, like how exactly you managed what to eliminate and what to add on?
So you don't need to go and make 100 friends and practice with them. Just one friend could be helpful enough, because that one friend could be the one who will motivate you. That it's a long time, it's a long day. Like you come back after a work and you don't have energy to actually sit and study and put that energy. But when you talk to that friend, they will tell you, okay, I am doing this now. You also do this. So that's how you go on. And I had a really good Facebook friend, and now we are like friends in life. So at that point of time, like his name is Ronak. He had attempted almost 20 plus SSBs, and at that point of time he was the most experienced, and he has not got recommended, although he's not in forces, but he is doing great in his life. So at that point of time he was most experienced person, and I used to talk to him like almost every day, and I used to ask him, okay, this is what I did. When I used to come back from SSB, I used to explain whole scenario to him. Like, this is what I did in SSB, and this is how it went. Interview में ये पूछा, GTO में ये करा. So sometimes if you're not able to analyze yourself, it is good to take help with your peers, maybe with your parents, maybe with someone in your family. It is always good to discuss and tell them, because others' point of view also matters.
Rightly pointed, ma'am, that
Yeah,
their point of view matter, and even that helps in writing good SD,
yeah.
actually knowing more about yourself in interview.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And since ma'am also mentioned that reading newspaper and all those things, particularly all those things are something known as micro actions, which we also insist that if your story heart and soul lies on your subjectual knowledge, and more importantly, ma'am has emphasized more on it, how to go about it. So, ma'am, what was your approach, particularly regarding interview and the GTO?
Okay. Every time I used to go for an interview, um, I have realized one thing: whatever you write in your PIQ form, that will form a basis of your interview. So it is very important to write it in a very good handwriting, no cuttings at all. and it is very important that you be honest. I was never a sports person. Although right now I am an ocean sailor, I am a sports person. I am tenzing norgay awardee, which is the greatest national award for adventure. But in my school days, I was never a sports person. So I write that I have not played sports. So he had not asked me any question regarding sports. It is okay to not be a sports person, and you don't need to lie about it. So, whatever you are, just be truthful, and your interview would be as smooth as waves of ocean, I would say. So, also, when you are in your interview, in middle of your interview, if you if you are afraid, if you are terrified before your interview, just think of it as a conversation with your friend, because when you are with your friend, what are you talking about? You're talking about your life, about what you are doing in your life, what you are. So similar thing happens in interview, because there you just need to be little formal, not as if you're sitting in your drawing room. There they are asking you about your life, and no one knows your life better than you. So you are the master there. You are giving them clue to ask questions. Whatever you will say, that will form a base of the next question. So say what you are, and it will be easier for you to answer the next question. And regarding I would say the general knowledge part, which they check, it will also be asked from what you are saying. Like when I used to give my interviews, I used to actually focus on telling them that yeah, I read newspaper, I read Hindu, and I like editorial page, because I knew if I say that, then they will ask me question of anything related to what I'm reading in news, like what's going on right now, the international. Okay, tell me something about international news. Oh, I am prepared, I know five international news, I will just say it with confidence. So whatever you are doing in your day to day life, it is important to mention them, and you can only mention that if you are doing it. If you are doing Instagram whole day, then you can't mention it, right? So you need to build that habit. And I know it is very difficult to build that habit, because we usually are not into it. But if you need to get somewhere, you had to sacrifice something. So you have to sacrifice 1 hour of your phone time for that reading. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. As ma'am has pointed regarding there should not be no cut pates, which also we insist that that shows your speed of decision, which is one of the qualities at peak. And also, ma'am told about the whole strategy, basically the clue giving one, which ma'am insisted
Yeah.
that if you read newspaper, if you tell about international relation or whatever topics you were interested in, so that gives an added advantage to keep the ball in your court rather than keeping the ball in their
Exactly.
court and shooting somewhere else. So rightly pointed, and
And
yes, ma'am.
can I add one more thing?
Yes, yes, definitely.
So, in my last interview, in my fifth interview, I realized I was overconfident. I thought I knew everything because I read, I do everything, I practice. So, I thought this is the time I will clear my SSB. And I was the most disheartened person because I was conference out in my fifth attempt. So, in my sixth attempt, I I was working. I got the bonus. I went to Rawat in Spiti. I traveled in Himachal for 15 days, and just before SSB. And next day, I reached the board 33 SSB, and I was there to make friends, to chill out, and to have fun. I was not there like with that intention. Oh, इस बार select नहीं हुई तो क्या होगा, मैं fail हो जाऊंगी, मेरी life में और कुछ रहा नहीं है. No, I was like, होगा तो होगा, नहीं तो job चल रही है. It's good. So at that point of time, I realized my mind was clear. I was happy because I just traveled and I had such a great experience. And in my interview, except the few international questions and those questions which they ask, like related to GK and all, Except that everything was about my travel to La Holland Spiti. Everything was about my life, my school life, my college life, because I told them that yeah, I'm coming from Himachal. I just traveled to La Holland Spiti and then I came to SSB. Then he was interested to know more about my travel stories. And so I was like, okay, tell me about. Do you know acute mountain? He said that AMS, and I was prepared because I knew when you go to mountains, you obviously when you tell them that you have been to Lahore and Spiti and you went to that peak and you did that, or will be acute mountain sickness. So I was aware about that. I read about it. I read, okay, what all medicines you take when you have acute mountain sickness. So in your mind, you need to be prepared. Okay, when I tell them about my travel journey, what all questions can come up. So, and he was really happy that I knew it. So it was all like placed around me about what I really want to tell them. So that's how you mold the interview. It could be like in 10, I would say out of 10 interviews, in only in 9 interviews, it would be like they're asking what they want to ask. Usually they'll ask what you want to tell them. Yeah, you can continue, Pallab.
Yes, ma'am. Rightly pointed that every time if we juggle here and there, then sometimes what happens is entering officer takes the gun in his hand, and eventually things are not in our place. So ma'am has rightly pointed that आप अपनी अगर story narrate करोगे in a very expressive way, it eventually helps you to make it. So, ma'am, now there were many queries coming up from candidates, and there was one such query which actually poked us that since, ma'am, you actually switch jobs, and then there were questions. There might be a question that आपने जॉब क्यों स्विच किया और उस टाइम पे कैसे आंसर्स दिए थे लाइक जॉब स्विच करा एंड व्हाई डू यू वांट टू जॉइन नेवी यू आर डूइंग गुड आउटसाइड देयर इज नथिंग इनसाइड इन नेवी ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को आपने कैसे हैंडल करा
Okay. So my real reason to switch a job, like I was Android engineer, my real reason was I was not happy in learning about the designing and testing part and doing what engineer does. So I cannot tell this to my interviewer. Obviously, I have to project it in positive way. So how I projected is that I told sir that I was not getting time to study for my SSB. That's why I selected a job where my timings were fixed. Like I had to just work from 2 to 11. So I had 8 hours of time where I have to work. And after that, I could study for my SSB. So that's why I switched my job. So everything is simple if you think out clearly. You don't need to actually create stories which are like very difficult. It has to be a simple story and it has to be very clear. So I was not happy in that job. I don't need to tell that to everyone. I just switched it because I wanted to prepare for SSB. And this shows that you had a goal and you are doing everything possible to achieve that goal.
Yes, very rightly pointed. Ma'am, like if we talk about the journey again of not recommended, but regarding your academy life, because there are many females out here, they feel that कि हम एक बार recommend हो जाएंगे फिर हम देखेंगे merit में आएंगे कि नहीं, and eventually even though if they join academy sometimes they face quite issues. So how was your thing in academy and how exactly you faced the challenges and what piece of advice you would like to give to all the boys and girls out here in from academy's life?
So, yeah. Obviously, academy life is tough. I would not say it was easy. It was not a piece of cake. It was really tough because for the first time, I was in a situation where I could not talk to my parents. So I was so used to, like, we are so used to having mobile phones and talking to parents and sharing everything that sharing all my pain with them was really important to me, but I could not speak to them. So that was the first hurdle which we all come through. But it's like you're okay with it after some time, because you had a goal in mind to become an officer, and to achieve that goal you have to give up some things. So uh, also my journey was better than many of the other course mates of mine, because in academy the most important part is taking care of yourself. And almost 50 to 60% of the lady officers which were there, like women cadets we call them, so which were there with me at that point of time, got an injury. It is very easy to get an injury in academy, because you are running 24/7, you are doing something or the other in the academy, and usually in your normal life we are not very active. So for me it was good that I was an active aspirant. I actually since my college time only I started doing gymming, and I used to do running. Then during my preparation time also, I used to at least give 1.5 hour to my exercise, and that helped me because my body was used to a bit, not much, but a bit. So it is very important to exercise daily. I would say if you want to join forces, be ready to like run almost 12 hours a day. I would say that. So so that you don't get injured. So you get easily pelvic fractures, you get knee fracture, you get shin fractures. So that way, since I did not get injury, it was good. And it becomes good. The journey is really good, because you are not the only person who is going through it. You have your course mates along with you. So we were a batch of almost 300 NOCs, Naval Orientation Course. So whenever I used to feel low, I used to look at someone who was feeling much more worse than me. And it used to be like, okay, let's all do it together. We have to do it. And we used to pump each other. That was the best way to go through it. Never feel alone. If you're feeling alone, just talk to your course mate, talk to the instructors out there, and you'll be okay. And everyone can go through it. It's just the willpower. It's all in your mind, as they say. It's all in your mind. So we used to run even in fevers. Like if you have fever, go for a run. You'll not go to a medical station. So that was the case. So that's a best part, which you train yourself to be hard. Yeah.
सो मैम एज यू मैंशन दैट एकेडमी में अगर कभी ज़्यादा रोना धोना हो जाए तो दूसरों का रोना धोना सुन लो, वो अपनी रोना धोना rightly pointed, and
Like,
kahin na kahin my nostalgic feelings also came in picture. So since there are many candidates again out here who are going for Navy SSBs in the near future, and you are going for like if you are going for education, if you are going for ATC, electrical, n number of branches, whatever you can think of, like there are 10 around branches. So what some questions which you personally feel might have been asked in, and you can recollect from your own SSB, from SSC Navy entries?
Okay, so during my time, I don't think much questions were asked related to your branch, but I mostly applied for I once applied for education. For this was my first actually Navy SSB. Before this, whatever SSBs I have given were for Army and Coast Guard, and Air Force SSB I was not able to give because I was in academy. And mostly related to cadre, it would be a simple question, because they don't want to judge you if you have knowledge about it in depth. They would just ask general questions like, what do you know about Navy? What is the rank of officers in Navy in ascending order or descending order? So this will be like instantly in ascending order. Okay, I have learned in descending order. Now you get confused when they add this word. So something like, what all branches are you aware about the branches in Navy? What do you think? What kind of work you will do in education cadre? So these kind of questions. you might not be aware, you can just read about it, just Google it, because everything is available right now. So, or go to Indian Navy website, just read. And before you go for your SSBs, it is very important to go through the websites, because there is so much information on Indian Navy website, and you can see my face also. There is one picture of mine in that website. Just joking. So yeah, that's how you can prepare for it. That's the way to go for
Yes,
it.
ma'am. No, ma'am. As most of the things are already covered regarding your journey and then again your SSB, then particularly to the academy. One question which pings my mind is the training of Indian Naval Academy was more tougher or the circumnavigation training was more tougher?
No, the academy training was more tougher, because circumnavigation is a kind, like, sailing is not very tough if you enjoy it. It could be tough for some people. I have heard the comments like, "Oh, I will get tan. I don't want to sail. Oh, this is so tiring. Like, we are going out at sea and coming back after so many days. We don't have internet. We don't have luxury of fan. Or I don't want to do." So there were so many people who were not doing it because of these reasons. But yeah, tan can always go away, and but the experiences which you get while sailing, you cannot get it any other way. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So basically, the academy was more tougher. And personally, ma'am, again, you also served in RIMC, and
Yes.
you were in the batch where first first girls batch were being inducted. So how was that experience? And more importantly, what all things are being looked in a very young girls, basically, who have just come out. They have not even came out from schools as well. So
Yeah.
who worked on them, and what was your piece of advice to them when they joined academy? Like, what is his?
So it was a historic moment, actually, and I was honored to be there. I was one who was in charge, wholesale in charge of their. I was actually a project officer there, so my work was to get all the buildings in shape, to do the new construction, to get the road meets, everything related to the construction and things, along with the SSB preparation for the cadets. So when the girl batch were about to arrive, so since NDA was given a go ahead from Supreme Court, so RMC was also told that yes, you need to induct girls. And then the first batch came, and I expected that five girls will be coming to RNC. It was like five girls will get inducted for the first time, and but then when the girls came in, there were only three of them could clear it, and out of three, only one joined. So that was really nice. At least one of them were daring enough to come to the school and be there. Like, imagine one girl, like, she was such a small kid, 8th class, and with 250 boys. So I really feel like she'll become some admiral or chief in her life. Yeah, she was like really daring, from Haryana. And when she came to the school for the first time, we interacted with her and made her feel like at home. Because obviously, when you're doing things for the first time, you need to give that assurance to the kid, to the parents, because they are also skeptical about it. So that's how it started. But now I think there will be almost like 15 to 20 girls which are there in the school, because it's been almost 1.5 year. And that's how everything starts, because everything has to be for the first time. Like, we did sailing for the first time, and now Navy is preparing two lady officers for solo circumnavigation. So out of them, one of them will be going for circumnavigation. So everything comes step by step. So I think they'll be doing really great in the service. Once they clear their NDA, they have so much to look forward to. And I hope they all of them join in Navy only.
Rightly pointed said by one of the participants that change is the only constant, and it is very well mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita as well.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, as we can see in this picture, ma'am, which everybody can see. So, how was this moment when actually you all returned from INS, the whole voyage of 254 days, and the sense of satisfaction, the sense of pride, covering ocean, seas, different terrain, different land masses, as well as different storms, as you mentioned, 140 km per hour, which is very big storm when it hits any ground reality. So was this satisfaction finally meeting the people on grounds, and particularly the defense minister that time?
Uh, it was not a feeling of satisfaction, I would say. It was actually a feeling of disappointment because the journey which we were, the voyage which we were covering, and we have gone around, and then we were returning after almost 9 months. So we were actually feeling really bad because it was about to end. The dream which we had seen in like 4 years ago, it was about to finish. So I was thinking, what's next? What will I do after this? I don't want to go back and do administrative jobs. So that was the thing in my mind. But obviously, I was enjoying all the galas, and I was looking forward to meet my family after so many months. And it was a feeling of proud because the defense minister then was a woman, and she was so happy to be there and to greet us. Yeah, it was like fun. That was a day where we had most memorable days of my life. Yeah, I would say.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, while when we were coming across the whole journey of you, and when we were studying you properly, there was a mentioning of a retired vice admiral, and he was the one who thought of circumnavigation, and he was also thinking of some other vision, but due to some issue, he got he got this thing. So, tell us something about him, because many candidates might have not known who is this gentleman behind all this Sagar Parikrama, and particularly the six women whom you are seeing.
Yeah. So, late Admiral Avati. So, he is the one who thought of sailing and this adventure sport in Indian Navy. So, once he was in London, he was walking on the streets of London, and he saw a book, and he read that book about oceans and sailing. And at that point of time, he thought, why can't we do this in Indian Navy? And it took him so many years to get to this point where Navy was prepared to send first person for the circumnavigation. He was a retired Captain Donde. He did his first circumnavigation in 2009, and after that retired commander Abhilash Tommy, he did second circumnavigation without stops. So first one was with stops and second was continuous, so in 2011. And then again Navy took the third step to send us for circumnavigation. So it was all his vision that Navy should do this. And then when he retired, then also he kept on writing mails to CNS and to other senior officers. And then it kept on happening because of him. And obviously, he played a huge part in our maritime history. He was the first lieutenant when we took over Navy. So, you once you read about him, you will get to know he was such a amazing soul, and he wanted one of us out of six of us. He wanted one of us to go for a solo circumnavigation also. So, but his vision is obviously continuing, and Navy is preparing again for another circumnavigation. So I think it's a great journey which he has started, and it's still continuing because of him. Yeah.
Really great one. So,
And I would like to tell you a small secret. He used to call all of us Serendipitous Six. That was the name given by him to us.
really great one, and that is something which I guess will be a top secret for the whole people out here. Really great one. So, as ma'am has pointed regarding late Vice Admiral Avati, he was basically the person who got the vision of going throughout the whole globe after seeing things in London and eventually returning to India. Post retirement also he didn't बोलते ना आप दिल से फौजी होना important है आप भले सर्विस में हो
Exactly.
and even though if you are retired that is more important that is again have given a vision and see as ma'am pointed that vision is still continuing and eventually many other officers will come up soon. So, ma'am, before we close this one-to-one question, what would be one piece of advice or one success mantra for all the candidates out here who are going for NDA, 10 plus 2 BTech, AFCAT, CDS, and lot of other entries whatsoever, even service entry. So, what would be piece of advice suggestion for them? How they should go about in their day-to-day routine life?
One piece of advice would be you all should have a goal. Like, I realize for myself, when I don't have a goal in my life, I feel there's no perfect path which you can follow. Once you have a goal in your life, either to join defense forces or to do anything, like even after joining defense forces, people feel lost. It happened with me. So, whatever you're doing, once you join forces, also, even if you're in army, navy, air force, wherever you are, have a goal in mind, what you want to do, what you want to achieve. If you have a goal, your day will be sorted, you will be happy from inside, and you will be content that you are working toward your goal. So yeah, that's the one piece of advice I can give.
Really great, ma'am. And what would be one piece of advice for the whole cult SSB team who is working day in day out for the all out here? And many candidates out here are having their SSB in the upcoming week as well. So the piece of advice for the whole team.
Oh, I think I need some advice from you. Not okay, but yeah, you guys are doing really great job. I am so happy to be here and to talk to you, and I'm so happy that you are such a young team and helping people and helping candidates, helping others is the best thing that you can do in life, and you are doing that with a great motivation. So proud of you and your team. Thank you so much for calling me here. And I was so happy to share my journey. And all the best for your future endeavors. Any help required, let me know. And all the best to all the candidates who are aspiring to be a defense officer.
Really great. Thank you so much for your kind words, and it brings utmost joy and happiness seeing you coming up. And for those who don't know, it takes a lot of things to ma'am to come on the session, and it takes a lot of formalities, protocols. Ma'am is here with